So hi, everyone. I'm Miriam Clark of NELA, New York. I hope you can hear me. And I am so delighted to be speaking tonight about our friend and great comrade, Aravella Simotas. So um, we at NELA, New York began working with Aravella in 2019. At that time, New York State had one of the most restrictive human rights laws in the country. Um, it only applied to larger employers. There were no punitive damages or attorney's fees. It didn't protect independent contractors. And perhaps worst of all, it contained the dreaded severe or pervasive provision, which meant that sexual harassment was perfectly legal unless it was severe or pervasive, as defined by male judges who, not surprisingly, had a really high tolerance for sexual harassment since it didn't affect them. So we began working in late 2018, early 2019 on a bill that would completely overhaul the New York State law, make it more like the New York City human rights law, even broader if possible. And that's how we met Aravella. So in the very beginning, we were struck, and I particularly was struck by what an incredible lawyer Aravella was. We're a group of employment lawyers, and we don't really expect legislators to have this much knowledge of, or frankly, interest in the law. And Aravella was extraordinary. In a series of conversations, she asked us all of these really hard legal questions that we had not thought of, about the way the New York City law worked, about how it would work in New York State, potential arguments against the law. And her incredible thoughtfulness and attention to this kind of detail made the bill one that in the end largely passed as it was originally introduced, which was amazing. And throughout the whole process of trying to get the bill passed, which was incredibly difficult, as you can imagine, Aravella kept coming back to us over and over, anticipating this argument or anticipating that argument, or wondering whether we couldn't make this argument better or that argument better. She was assigning us legal research right and left, like we worked for her. It was amazing. And they were really good questions. And we really needed to know the answers. And we had not thought of any of these questions until Aravella raised them. So she was a wonderful partner in that regard. So the thing that we were really newbies in doing lobbying stuff at NELA, New York, we're all practitioners. So this was our first big bill that we were working to pass. And at a certain point, I remember being anxious, looking at the bill on the Assembly website and thinking, gee, we don't really have a whole lot of sponsors. Maybe we need more co-sponsors. Aravella said, don't worry. At the right time, we will have sponsors. And then there was this one day, I think we were all in Albany, and we opened up our phones and clicked on the website where it shows who the co-sponsors are of bills. And they started coming on. It was amazing. It was like watching likes on Twitter or Facebook. This co-sponsor and that co-sponsor. And we could just imagine like Aravella on the phone and running around the hallways. And she corralled all these people to be co-sponsors. It was incredible. And then, of course, while we were working with her, we realized that our bill was not the only bill that Aravella was championing. Every single bill that had anything to do with sex discrimination or sexual harassment seemed to be sponsored by Aravella. It was amazing. It was like she had a monopoly on this issue, and her bills passed, and they were well thought out. And together, we managed to overhaul the New York State human rights law. So now it's a model for other states, and it provides enormous benefits for independent contractors, for people who work for small firms. It eliminated the horrible, severe, or pervasive standards so that victims of unlawful harassment can actually get redress in the New York State courts. It was a historic achievement, and so much of it is due to Aravella's fierce dedication and thoroughness. So Aravella, you're going to leave a big hole in the assembly. We're really going to miss you. But you should know that it's not every day that you get to change the law in such a significant way that will make a difference for so many people. And we're so proud that you carried this bill, and really led to such enormous change for so many people. So thank you, Aravella.
Miriam, thank you for that tremendous introduction. And Bev, thank you for putting this Zoom PowHer uh, opportunity for us to get together and discuss moving forward. I've had an incredible opportunity for the past 10 years to invest my time to improve people's lives. And there hasn't been a more thrilling experience in my life. For 10 years, I've focused on the most vulnerable among us. And I've really tried to make women's issues uh, the, the one thing that I focus most on. Why did I do that? You know, the challenges that women face today are very much the challenges that they faced 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 100 years ago. And the way that the challenges are overcome is also the same. Women put their minds together. We come together, we unite, and we decide what goal we have, and we work together to move forward. I keenly remember 2018, 2019, when I started focusing on uh, improving the workplace. You know, I'm an attorney myself. I've seen and I've heard what happens in the workplace. I've read some of the god awful decisions that have come down from our courts in New York State and from the federal courts, and I knew that in 2018 it was the time to actually get something done. There was a big movement, a Me Too movement that was going on, and I wanted to leverage that and create positive change. You know, it wasn't just me who did it. It was so many people, Miriam and NELA, and so many women. We came together and we decided that something had to be done. With respect to convincing my colleagues to sign on, I'm quite gifted at that. They didn't say no, particularly when you explain to them that the improvements we were trying to make were going to improve not just women's lives, but everyone's lives. They really perked up and they were more than happy to sign on. You know, I am very grateful about the relationships that I've built over the 10 years, particularly in the time that I was focused on improvement and improving our laws with respect to the workplace. And I'm also very, very happy that I was able to have some part in that, because I've always been focused on improving New York for my family and my friends. And now I have an 8-year-old daughter who you might have seen before, who I wanted to make sure that the workplace was going to be stronger for her and more equitable for her. I want to thank you all for listening. I want to thank you all for the work that you do and for investing your time away from your family and your children and your work to really focus on advocating. And that's how things get done. If many of you might not have heard the Speaker of the Assembly say, he listens to the women. He really does. And when we're able to get together and decide what strategy what goal we want to pursue and want to accomplish, he's very thoughtful and very supportive. So I want to encourage all of you to keep doing what you're doing, to make sure that you keep investing your time and know that you're not just improving lives today, you're also continuing to build the foundation for the future. So again, thank you everyone. Happy holidays. I wish all of you a wonderful, wonderful week. Thank you.